Trojans Live is sponsored by Pechanga Resort Casino, a proud partner of USC football. Jordan Moore, Shaun Cody, Cody Kessler, Keely Eure joins us now. Breaking news, we just found out Shaun doesn't like dogs.
But has one.
Don't put that on the internet.
Explain yourself.
It's on there. The whole dog world knows now, Shaun.
No, not that I don't love dogs. they're just a lot of work. They're just more than, and they're like a child that never gets older or learns anything. That's my problem.
What
with
breed
dogs.
do you have?
An amazing
I got a
description of
COVID
dogs.
mutt dog. Yeah.
Keely, do you have a dog?
I do not.
Dog
I have
person?
a cat who is insane and like a dog.
You seem like someone would be allergic.
I'm not. It's the one thing I'm not allergic to, Jordan.
I have a dog, Jordan. His name's Coda, and he's a German
know.
Shepherd Husky.
And he's made an appearance on podcasts multiple
He's
times.
made an appearance on everything.
Cody, do you have any kids?
Yeah, I do. I have a son. Actually, my son Brooks, his birthday is December 14th, so happy
Yes,
birthday.
we remember this time last year.
Yes.
A lot of drama.
When he actually was a newborn
Yeah.
and not like right
Yes,
now when
yes.
he's a full
That was a
1-year-old.
one-year-old.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, getting older and learning new things, unlike a dog.
I'm like Shaun.
What did this team learn this season? How's that for a segue? Biggest step forward for this program. Obviously, 9-3, a great improvement over what we saw the last couple years. Where did you see it, on the field?
I feel like the word we heard a lot from players and coaches was resilience, and I feel like that showed up in different ways. One being, and you talked about it with Coach Riley, how many injuries that this team had and how many variations of starting offensive line or just offensive linemen that we saw throughout games. Your number one and number two starting running back go down and still have the production you have from a walk-on. I think so that resilience, but also just like second half defense, this team finding ways to win when if we put ourselves in the 2024 mindset, that was hard for this team to do. They lost close games that they probably should have won. So for this team to find ways to win, be more physical against certain teams like Michigan and Iowa, I thought that was a step forward for sure.
Yeah, learning to win was, I think, the major takeaway for me this season is just you think about last year and just the tight games they were in and the plays they didn't come up with, and as opposed to this year in some of those tight games, finding the ways to win, believing in those and expecting in those situations to come up with the wins. And I think that's the biggest, I think, stride they took this year.
Yeah, you guys talked about the mental side of things. I'm going to talk about the physical and then a position group specific. I think the offensive line took a huge step forward.
I agree.
It was so impressive to see, like Keely mentioned, all the injuries up there. And I don't think people understand how tough it is to go from left guard to right guard, from left tackle to right side, just in the middle of the game. And then Kalon Miller comes in and plays both sides. And then you go from Killian to John Ray, back to Killian, back to John Ray, and still have the success you had and still win 9 games. That's a huge testament to that offensive line room. It's also a huge testament to Coach Riley for making Coach Hansen that offensive line coach. He did a great job. So if we can continue to build on both sides of the ball in the trenches, though, I think that's where it starts. But it was great to see that offensive line take a huge step forward this year.
Yeah, what is the next step? Coach Riley said it, and he said it both in his post-game press conference and then here today. It was a good season, could have been a great season kind of thing. Just sort of a light in his eye about they were this close to being a playoff team. So what's the next step for the program?
Playoffs.
Yeah.
But how do we get there?
Oh, how do we get there?
Yeah.
It's going to be, I think you got to be able to travel in those tough road environments. That's what I think that's going to take. I have to think about the schedule for next season. I'm trying to remember what games are going to be.
Yeah, they don't have them laid out
Penn
in
State,
terms of
Indiana.
calendar
Indiana
form yet,
on the
but
road,
what,
yeah.
2 Indiana, 2 Penn State, 2 Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Those tough road games,
UCLA.
I think, is the next step. We saw Notre Dame and Oregon, probably the 2 worst performances of the year. Got to find a way to perform better in those big spotlight national games on the road, I think.
Yeah, I agree. 7-0 at home, 2-3 on the road. That's just you got to be able to go into those tough environments. And they were 3 tough road losses. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we're playing good football teams, but yeah, it's just you got to be able to travel well, and that's something that Coach Riley mentioned of learning how to compete in this conference is those West Coast to Midwest games, those West Coast, even some of those East Coast games, the time change, the schedule, being able to start fast and play complementary football. There's just so many things that go into it. And then the other thing I will say, position specific, is I think the front 7, really the defensive line, the linebackers, we got to be a little bit better in the run game.
I think just take a different angle, just look no further than the guests that you guys had, the 2 senior walk-ons. How do you continue that culture? Coach Riley said after the game, this is not our most talented team we'll have, but it might be, looking back, the most important team we've ever had, because just laying the foundation for a winning culture, what it takes to do the hard things, do the small things, be consistent, and to win. And so maybe it's not the best season, obviously, we've seen from USC football, but it's the start of where they wanted to go. And I don't think I've seen, and you guys talked about Coach Riley on the ladder, I don't think I've seen him so optimistic after a game after the end of a regular season it seems like from all accounts, they're very happy and excited about the future.
And I mean, as he should be. If you're a Trojan fan and you've watched this team closely, you can absolutely see the trajectory that they are on right now. I mean, they started the season unranked, had a tough schedule, had all these injuries, and still win 9 games in the Big Ten. That's huge. That's something that you should be proud of.
And they're about to get an enormous influx of talent here over the next couple weeks, which combined with the culture, that exists already for 4 years instead of trying to do the two things at once, seem to be in a much better spot going forward for sure to continue growing. As you said, the future is hopefully the college football playoff. And this sport, I asked Coach Riley about the calendar. I thought his answer was really interesting. And the other debate that's going on right now is like, how do you determine who makes this thing? And really the debate just comes down to two things, which is win-loss counting versus these unbalanced schedules, which are pretty wild. I mean, some of them are not even the team's fault. Like, I was looking at Texas A&M's. Like, they play in the SEC, great league. They just so happen to play the entire bottom half of the league. We saw that from Indiana last year. Now, A&M went out and beat Notre Dame. But some of this is not even just like, oh, you need to schedule harder in the non-con. Texas scheduled hard in the non-con, and obviously they're bemoaning that at this point. So, what do you guys think? How do you think they should determine the best 12? If they put you guys on the committee, how would you look at it?
I think the most important. Well, I'll say this is to your point to start off is there's human error, right? It's not a system. There's not a set mathematical equation to figure it out. It's just, it's just trying to figure out what's going to happen. I think wins matter. I think that does matter. I think wins matter more than bad losses, who you've beat, because you're going to play some tough teams in the college football playoff. Can you beat tough teams? I think that's more important. But then at the end of the day, the argument with Texas, does a 3-loss SEC team that played Ohio State for a non-conference game get in? I can see both sides of the argument. I don't think there's ever going to be a perfect system. It's just going to come down to what the committee thinks at that time.
Yeah, it's hard to. I mean, they've been arguing it since I've been playing about what system works the best.
Yeah,
never found it. The more teams you can include, the better, maybe. But also, wins got to matter to me. I mean, wins are important. There was, when Miami and the Notre Dame thing, Miami had beat Notre Dame, but they were ahead of, so it was like the wins got to matter to me. You win if you win games against opponents and they're getting ahead of you. Like, what are we doing here if we're not counting these wins?
I feel like the committee needs to be composed of different segments of college football, in the sense of like, you get someone from Reddit, you get someone from Twitter, you're getting like everyone, because they're going to
get some fan votes going.
They're going to bring out the
incredible.
They'll have the stats that you're like, wait a minute. He has a point. You know what I mean? You need segments of everyone.
I love it. Reddit CFB.
Getting creative
next
here.
To athletic directors in that room.
Shout out, no context, Reddit CFB.
I love it. All right, we got one more segment to come with Trojans Live next. One final segment of Trojans Live here to wrap up the fall season. Jordan Moore, Shaun Cody, Cody Kessler, Keely Eure. Should shout out John Jackson, who sat in on the show at times this year, but mostly want to shout out Casey and Steve and Gia and Rick, Ben Conroy. Everyone that goes into making this show, it's grown exponentially over its almost 15 years, I think, in existence. So thank you. And Keely does so much behind the scenes as well. So our final over-under of the fall is presented by Pechanga Resort Casino, proud partner of USC Athletics. I can make this into an over-under, but I'll make it a more simple question. Does a Big Ten team win the national championship for the third consecutive year?
Yes.
Yes.
I think Ohio State wins the national championship. I'll say it right now. I think top to bottom, they're
top to bottom.
They're going to be tough to beat. If Julian Sain can keep playing like he is as a young player, I don't know who's going to beat him.
Give me Ole Miss, baby.
I like it.
I'm just excited for Saturday. I get to watch college football. Good college football.
Don't.
I said yes. I said yes a long time ago.
Okay.
I'm just getting extra thoughts.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of think the top of the league is better than the top of the SEC. I'm not as an anti-SEC as Sua is.
Same, yeah.
I think it's
good to anybody.
But I think there's two leagues right now that are just above everybody else. And SEC has incredible depth, but I just haven't seen a team all season that's going to step out and beat it. And maybe it's Indiana, maybe it's not Ohio State.
Could be.
Maybe it's Oregon. I don't know. I think that's they're going to be right there too. So the Big Ten's going to have 3 teams in there, and all of them right at the top. So they'll have a great opportunity. Hopefully that'll be us next year. But we will see you back this spring. Thank you to everyone who watches and follows. Fight on.